Okay, we are live probably. Yep, we're live. So we are jumping into Rome 2 Total War, which I haven't played in years, and I don't know why, I've been hankering to play not just this game, but this specific campaign for a while. Um, Now we're starting not in the game because I don't know why I'm choosing to start it here, but I've just added a bunch of mods, and I'm going to click play, and we'll see if it works. Playing with these mods, what could go wrong? So the big mod I'm playing with here, that I don't know very well. I haven't played this game in years. I played for 20 minutes to check that the base game works. The base game does work. I remember being really excited for this game and then playing it quite a lot, but not really feeling like I'd walked away with a particularly fantastic experience. Because in a way, I think every Total War since Empire up until maybe Warhammer, I've played a lot of Total War. Not that many hours of them, but like a lot of different ones. The changes are normally incremental and small, and it comes often with you inheriting, initially, a slightly broken game. As evidenced here by the fact that I'm not sure it's making any sound. Oh no, there we go. So, divide et impera. Immediately, I'm slightly put off by the placement of the word et. Is a big overhaul mod. And as such, amongst other things, so I think it adds more factions you can play as. Pretty sure you can play as criminals before, you can play as arse. It's not swearing if I say it that way. It almost certainly is not said that way, and to anyone who lives in arse, I'll say, I don't know. What is that? A kind of Spanish coast. It adds just a ton. So here we have different factions of place I've never heard of before. So here we go, we're playing as Bactria. Let's play on Legendary, what's the worst that can happen? So this is northern Afghanistan, so we're a long way east, and this is kind of the edge of Alexander's of Alexander's span of the range he got to. So, by the looks of this, Bactria didn't really secede from the Hellenic kingdoms, but instead it was cut off by Parthia seceding. Secede is a strange word to use here. Parthia becoming independent. Oh my god, this is long. It's sort of fascinating, but I'm not going to read all of it. Where was I? In the fortified city of Bactra. So they then end up allying themselves with the Parthians. So an interesting thing here is that when you start a campaign like this, you start with a very definite map, and you can think, oh, this is what history looked like at that moment. But with something like Rome, a lot of it's sort of unknown. Like, it's partly known, but no one's completely certain. Like, they sort of don't know how big the kingdom was. It starts relatively big in the game. It's not a particularly difficult starting challenge. Oh, what? We got to a whole place which was to do with India, and I would love to play more Total War games in India, and particularly Nepal. I have a really I love Nepal. I think it's an amazing place, and I'd love to learn more about it. And I like learning through play. So, someone invaded India in 180 BC. So this is now past where it all starts. Which might have been to show support for the Mauryan Empire and to protect the Buddhist faith from religious persecutions. I really hope that's what's going on. That's great. I love playing as, someone who's actually quite good. So the Buddhists flourished in this kingdom. That probably goes further east than this campaign map. Well, this game is called Rome 2, and this is the very furthest east. It's a long way. I don't know. Maybe all you guys know your geography, but it's a part of the world that it took me a long time to really put any scale to. And historical games really help. I don't mean to ignore the modern kingdoms there, but the transition from the Levant and the Mediterranean coast to modern day Iraq and the kind of stretching up to Georgia, I forget what its name is, that region. It's got a lovely name. And then Persia, Baghdad and the tip of the it's not the Red Sea, it's the other one. It'd probably be easier to show you when looking at the map. I can just show you this on the map in a sec. It's a much better idea than what I'm doing. But yeah, basically this is far. That's the point I'm trying to make. Things are far away. Great cultural syncretism. Development of Greco-Buddhism. So eventually defeated by the Parthians. By 141 BC, they seem to have entered an alliance with the Seleucids to fight against Parthia. But defeated in that opened up to nomadic invasions and the Scythians, pushed by a migration of the Huesi, may have wiped them out. The Huesi ended up in Bactria. So this is something, I think this is a point that Attila makes fantastically well, which shocked me when I first really learned about it. The destructive power of a people being pushed through other nations, like a wave of people being displaced. And in Attila, it's focused around a mini ice age, something that actually happened. Parts of the now kind of central Russian steppe became just less and less inhabitable, and that kind of forced people out, just a climatic change. And that's what leads to the fall of Rome. Air quotes, not because it didn't happen, but because, any fall, any crash is precipitated by it being able to happen. But basically there's this cascading influx of people migrating to get away from the people who are migrating, to get away from the people who are migrating, all the way back to probably the Huns, who aren't migrating away because they're being pushed, they're migrating away because there's no food left on the steppe. And the best way for them to survive is to take from others. Like, everyone involved is just trying to survive. But you get this chaotic cascade of this difficult time for a kingdom that kind of splinters and kind of breaks, and Rome doesn't disappear. In fact, like, that region is rich and prosperous throughout basically all of history. It's no surprise that the Renaissance and the great Middle Ages banking houses all spring out of Italy. It was always a rich and not necessarily very connected, very singular place. Anyway, that's a different history. That's a history that's going on all the way on the other side, and it kind of is going on more in the game Attila, which maybe I'll play sometime. So eventually the king moves beyond the Hindu Kush. I don't know what that means, maybe into Kashmir. This is presumably when Indo-European as a language is cemented. Khwarizmi would remain in Bactria for more than a century, and became Hellenized to some degree. I mean, it's hard not to if you are inhabiting the old cities. Hellenization is a weird phrase in that it's one we talk about, but every culture that occupies and communicates with another culture has a chance to take a lot from it, and it's really hard not to. They sometimes will try and deny that cultural exchange. Minting coins in the style of the Greco-Bactrian kings. Basically, you inherit the useful bits. You take the things that work well, and you're like, yeah, I'll use that. Why not? But in inheriting those, you also inherit a little bit of the culture that comes with them. It's quite sort of parasitical viral reproduction of a culture. To everyone's benefit, They get nice coins, and they also maybe get a nice library culture, which is probably pretty good for them. Like, the Hellenic kingdoms were quite strong. So they eventually found the Kushan Empire. So we won't probably see the Khwarizmi at all. Nice, maybe Seleucid. Proper beard. I have no idea who this guy is. I'm just guessing. One of the reasons that finally got me to return to this is I've just read through I, Claudius, which I recommend for anyone who likes reading. I read through, so I rarely read these days. I have to read a lot for my job, for my research, and it takes a bit of a toll on me. Like, it's hard work. Just don't have that much energy for reading. So this was an old BBC4 radio adaptation play which you can get on Audible to sponsor me. Actually, I keep making the stroke. I don't want to be a sponsored channel. I don't want to be beholden to any like business practices or anything like that. I just want to make stuff that people like to watch, and maybe they come and they learn a bit about like pragmatic, Sonderist mathematical philosophy. Dog! Dog's howling a little bit. Yeah, don't sponsor me. No one sponsors me. Don't do it. Just been watching an Arumba stream. Arumba is I really enjoy watching his stuff. He plays a game called Europa Universalis 4, which if you hang about this channel, you probably have seen me playing at some point. Which is this huge, complex simulation of the entire world for a 400-year period. And honestly, I'm just about getting to grips with it now. Every time I play it, I'm like, oh my god, I don't know. Do I want trade efficiency or trade power? Okay, so the game has launched. I kind of am slightly expecting the game to just not work. So I don't have a huge zoom, which always slightly I find a shame. Let's look at the... Oh, nice new map. So this is just kind of what I was saying about the scale of it. I feel like this map, Spain looks weird to me on it. It looks a bit too cut in, or maybe this a bit too far out. And the same with Italy, which is fair. It's good to change the geography a bit to make the game more playable, to make distances better, because this distance has been underestimated here. Arabia is larger than that. Ethiopia is larger than that. And Jess, come here. But even so, you can see that there's this, like, Turkey is just starting to get into this region. Then we've got Armenia, the site of old Mesopotamia, which will also be Baghdad. Will one day be down here. Kaimantia, Gabricia, and we're in Transoxania. Apparently we're not in Bactria, so we should maybe take that settlement off them. They're going to change capital. Do I want to open? No, I don't want any of this. Go away. Okay, there's just a nice button which makes it go away. So I can see my diplomatic status. I'm just neutral with everyone. My provinces apparently have a political party. So I've got to kind of remind myself of what's going on in this mod. Region wealth. This one's the wealthiest, although this one has gold. Ooh, that one's got spices. And that's spicy life. These regions are growing the most. Let's jump back to it. So even from the beginning, this was quite a beautiful game. I've just put some things in that will hopefully make it more beautiful. But we've got these maps with huge, carefully realised cities. Like, we're out on the edge of the game. This wasn't what it was intended to be a game about, this far out kingdom. But even here, we'll find inventive and interesting places. I have a governor. What do? You give some cultural influence. You culturally convert. You make provinces grow. You improve their morale. And you make bread and games more effective. That's cool. I'm in. So we're kind of at the edge of the world here, which it's hard to see, but the way that the game does that is just put some ocean here. Let's make it very clear. There's not an ocean here. But at the same time, you've got to do something. So here's my nice Bactria man. Oh, they've got rid of... I quite like... People didn't really like it, but there were these really interesting kind of cartoons on the unit portraits, they all look like they were painted on the side of vases. They've got rid of that in this, which is a bit of a shame. I'm not researching any technology. Oh, I've got social organisation apparently. Wait, did I jump into a new game or did I jump into... No, this is a new game. I played this yesterday and the first thing I researched was social organisation. I am relatively wealthy, but I'm not yet actually very able to trade. So for the moment, I'm going to research organised supply. And I'm going to try and stop quite a lot and talk about the actual history of what's going on. Not because I'm an expert, but because, you know, it's cool. I'd like to learn it. So I find this really interesting, and I don't really get it, design decision, that there's these two techs at the very beginning that you've got to get, and then you've got the whole tech tree opens up. An army's movement could be severely hampered by its own supply train. It was the Greeks who revolutionised military supply and logistics. They disbanded the legion of attendants and wives that trailed behind every army and introduced speedier horse and mule to replace the ox-drawn carts. Wow. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense that you just bring your whole family if you're going on some long campaign, but like Alexander's military reforms, I don't know if they were really his, if they were learnt from Socrates, even if they were just like the world was ready for them. Often when we talk about big reforms and changes in how things are done, actually it's an act of the world's now ready. That's why we're doing it this way. But still, you can see where this worked, where this was just more efficient, faster, more reliable things, and less people. Standardized coinage allowed states to provide for their armies in enemy territory. So money could be trusted anywhere. That's also fascinating and important. Like, this is kind of getting to a universal currency. Not because the currency is actually worth much. At this point, it's still probably the metal which is worth something. And it's probably not a standard amount, but you know how much gold it is. You know to trust it. Hey, in this mod I don't start with any diplomatic relationships, which is actually really nice, because in the base game, are you just saying that you just love these guys? Okay. I'd quite like to take this immediately. And I want to get down to the sea so I can start trading with people in the Indian Ocean. I also want to get across to the Caspian Sea. I think Scythia is here. And Parthia is going to be one of the interesting people who I don't really know what I'm going to do with or about. You start as a satrapy. Can I still make a trade agreement with you? They are a satrap. I don't know if that means that the Seleucids will defend them, but you know, I just don't necessarily want the bother at this point. Daha in Amul. Is this Daha? So they might have rearranged where the states are a bit, which is actually kind of nice. This map is a bit low res. I'm going to turn off... There's probably things I should know, but I'm going to turn off all advice. Parthians like me. You are Pani. I don't know what that means. Act 2 is up here. I shouldn't... It seems kind of fair enough that I know that. So I think this is Act 2. Yeah, Region Act 2. Region Dex. There's always a little bit of information you can get that you maybe shouldn't be supposed to have in a game like this, but that's kind of fair, you know. I would vaguely know what's going on in the world. I know of the Seleucidae. Seleucidae? Maybe I should be calling them the Seleucids, not the Seleucids. You were... Oh, you're a satrapy as well. Uh-huh. Well then, for the moment, my focus is going to be going over here. Because if I declare war on you, presumably... Yep. That's not a great idea. I'm not going to do that. So I may as well... Nope, you hate me. Don't want to trade with me. You're aggressive and treacherous. It's worse than devious. I can't, like, do anything to make you like me, can I? So, given that Daha is aggressive and treacherous and doesn't have any friends, I think immediately going to war with them before they can get any friends is probably a pretty good idea. I can just march up there, declare war, and worry about it by the time I actually get there. So what else is going on in this game? We have a garrison, which is normal. We have region growth, and it's now in... Oh, yeah, it's in actual number of people. Often it's just a kind of abstract number, like the region is now 6. And I'm like, I want to know how many people live here. I want actual data. I want to learn about the place. So, there's 25,000 people in Transoxania. Like, I don't want to know the specific numbers. I never want to know the specific numbers. I want to know the general, like, general trends. I want to know the order of magnitude. That's all I ever want to know. I want to know orders of magnitudes. I want to know gradients. I want to know phase transitions, and that's it. Those are the only 3 things I'm ever looking for. I find always so much information you're given is useless, and so much of the information you need is not given. It's not useless for the sake of the game, but it's useless for the sake of really knowing. Okay. I've got 4 different classes. 2 of them are shrinking, 1 of them is growing, 1 of them is not changing at all. That is net growth. So, I have no idea what these classes mean. Region majority culture is why the top 2 are changing. I've got a lot to learn. Banditry details. Contributing factors. There's basically none. Public order still works like normal. Culture details. Mostly Hellenic, a little bit Persian, a little bit nomadic. I'd actually prefer to be getting rid of the nomadic than the Persian, but I'm fine with that. This is the actual... Oh, these are the 2 towns. What's this region called? Bactria. Oh yeah, Bactria and Taurus. Yeah. I definitely want to build this. It's going to cost me a little bit of food. I am net positive in food. But this is more vulnerable. It's on the edge of my empire. This will make more things to trade, more growth. Upgrading settlements is generally just pretty good. Oh, and I start with a lot of money. Why do I start with so much money? I like starting poor. I like having no idea like where to put your efforts. So the first, second, and third class will grow. It unlocks some recruitment. You know, it's all just, it's good stuff. Let's get that. Given that I start with so much money, I'm pretty happy to... Oh my god, you're in my province. Get out of here. Do you only have 1 province? Can I see, like... details about you.
Come, my friend, speak. We are men of words, and so said.
Can't really tell. Ooh. Is that religion that I'm seeing there? I want the town, not the not all the other stuff. So Bactria is also growing, also starts at 25,000. That's probably just a set number. I wouldn't go thinking that anything is particularly bang on researched over here. So there's no outbreak risk. It's pretty good. Pretty good to not have any outbreak risk. There's a thing here that's 50%. What does 50% mean? Oh, this is the culture. You don't have to get rid of Hinduism. You don't have too much food. God, this mod changes a lot. I think I'll probably just play rather than trying to understand everything. I'll do what seems like good ideas. Upgrading a town that produces gold seems like a good idea. Upgrading my biggest city seems like a good idea. Expanding the city seems like a good idea. Oh, look, it grows. It actually grows in the map. So, the later Total War games, particularly Warhammer, the map is beautiful, but I feel like you don't actually interact with it very much. So I have spent quite a lot of my money. I don't really know like what each place is good for. So base food production +1. Base food production +1. There's a lot of trade potential here. Why is there so much trade potential in Bukhara? Is it like a particularly key trade route? I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense. This would be kind of the route to China. Two main different ways you get to and from China if you're going to Europe or vice versa. And one is skirting north of the Himalayas, and that would be going up through basically here, which is not a bad route. You go past oceans, inland seas at least. You can even cross by sea. Things are pretty fertile. Or you can go south and go along. Oh, it's all mountains here. Just kind of skip. You have to work your way through Afghanistan otherwise, even to get to India. The Silk Road has no single route. Some may be more popular, more travelled than others, but it doesn't really make sense to try and understand it as a single place. Due to control of the Silk Road. Can I see the Silk Road? Is that like a thing? The change capital button keeps breaking the game. This will also open the game's encyclopedia page. Great. Oh, why? Let's have a look at my faction overview. So, I can hire some politicians. Don't know what that does. I've got a family tree. I've got some skills. I've got a lot of traits. I've got some intrigues. Oh, there's a lot going on. So I think I'm the House of Diodosius, and I'm pretty Sogdian nobility, likes Easterners, hates barbarians. Barbarians in this period are just people who can't speak Greek, pretty much. People who kind of aren't recognised as having established cities, established cultures like that. Traits, logistics, 4294962. Wow, that's my phone number. I made a joke like that somewhere. I made a joke like that in an article recently about something being my sort code, and my mum sent me an email being like, "Is it your sort code? Don't put that in the article." I'm like, no. Successor Kingdom, +10 morale for battling Hellenic factions, less resistance to foreign occupation. That's fine. Influence overlooked. Oh. As you go up, things get basically worse for your empire. Some things get better, do they? No, everything gets worse. God, it sucks. It sucks to be big. You can have more armies and things by being big. Culture Hellenic. Influenced overlooked. Oh no, you get more influence per turn for your political party. So here we have the actual politics. Interesting. So I got some. I can secure loyalty or I can purge. I don't want to do any of these things yet. I don't know if I should be doing them, but I don't want to. You like Easterners. +2 loyalty for each Eastern faction, for which you have established diplomatic treaties. Oh, cool. You're a patriot. -5 loyalty for every army on my territory. Fine with that, guys. You hate barbarians, so you don't want me establishing tradition with them. You have 3 lightning bolts and 15 busts. Cool. Noble families, like a bit of trade. I'm on board. A militarist. You like me winning kind of regular victories. And you hate Romans. That's fine. We're on the other side of the world. That's you being mercantile. It's 53 of you in the Senate. So this is representing the Senate, and oh, this is where my influence is coming from. This is my. Okay, so influence is not size of empire. Oh, so I'm a kingdom, but I could be other things. Interesting. I don't have enough to change to these. And not particularly any reason why I'd want to. Apoliteia hates foreign cultures. Don't know if I understand that. But you get more from trade agreements. You get less loyalty from political parties. An oligarchy with some nice Germans arguing. More loyalty from political parties. Slaves are unhappy. Let's try and have less slaves. Not no slaves. I mean, if I get the option to have no slaves, I'll probably try and take it. But let's try and make life better for the slaves. Slavery being a quite different thing at this period in history, but it is still slavery. That's one available edict. -20 to diplomacy. Oh, so empire does look pretty good, but we don't really want it. I'm still reading through these. Populist. -10 loyalty for every level of taxes above average. Fine with that. Like keeping taxes low. +1 loyalty for each agent action. That's boring. I don't like agents. You're also militarist. So my people want me. They want me to be fighting battles, I think. Oh, so it's loyalty. So there's loyalty. There's influence. There's this number. Is it 2? Is it 0? Who knows? There's leaders. I don't know how I make this go up. So you don't really want to be peerless. Fair enough. But it's pretty nice to be exalted. Or beloved. Everything's good when you're beloved. And as it should be. So I can hire some politicians. If I hire them from my own house, I lose some court nobles. So here are the politicians. They just kind of... Do they exist as people? Like, I don't think they exist on the campaign map. Got a bunch of traits. This guy's a brawler, commander, and an intellectual. Seems like a good place to have. It's a good person to have. Leading an army. Not married. He has no household members or objects available for assignment. He is a justice. I could send an emissary to him, I could send a diplomat to him. All of these things would cost. Cost what? Oh, so he can go and do things in other places. God, this game is so much bigger than it was when I first played it. Fascinating. I don't know how much is the mod and how much is it's just them expanding it. People were not very happy with this game when it first came out. Maybe for reasonable reasons, but it's hard to tell. Ambition. Oh, there's a lot of things going on. Oh yeah, so I remember they have these three things: authority, cunning, and zeal. Young man. Do I assign governors to provinces? I remember doing that. Was that, different? Different bit of the game? So gravitas is one of the resources I have. It grows each turn. It's not actually shown anywhere particularly clear. Action manpower, 1,000. Maybe this is how long I have this thing for. I'm a good leader. People like me. They like me. I think I'm good. Yeah, influence overlooked isn't great. So this is the thing that gets worse and worse, but it's fine. I realise that I've been playing this game now for I think over an hour, and I've basically just read tooltips, which I'm pretty happy with. That's one of the reasons why I put this more complex mod in here, particularly when those tooltips are representing interesting bits of history. What I don't like is when those tooltips, like a lot of the numbers, are meaningless to me at this point. And I think it's easy to be put off in games like this, of like, oh, I don't know, do I want more manufacturing industry, or do I want more consecrated ground in the place? No one knows. Would I want that? Would I ever want that? So I don't want to kick out the Hindu culture. I just find that interesting. I think I'm going to build an agora. I think that's a good idea. We're not quite out of money, but we can build one more thing. A supply pit. Reduce banditry, not a problem. Ooh. Cultural differences, though, are causing problems. +2 Persian cultural influence. 5 public order per turn. 100 wealth and entertainment. I think, if I'm remembering correctly, yeah, I really want trade stuff on this. I'm going to expand this, and I'm going to build. What is trade? Like a wine trader. Wealth and commerce. How is... Wow, that Satrap's residence is making a lot of money. How much population do I have? Current growth. Not enough of that. Oh, these are the population classes. Agriculture income. Stable nobility, enterprising citizens, subsistence income, all income. It's low because it's sparsely populated. Oh, got a lot of things going on here. I think I want a Silk Road, although it doesn't provide anything defensive. But I want it. I want it. I think I'm going to build this, and then when I get the opportunity, I'm going to upgrade this to a Satrap's residence. Because I'm making a good bit of money. One thing I completely forgot to do is to recruit any troops. Let's see if I have enough money to do that. I can cancel buildings if I need to. You're expensive. There's a lot of stats in a Total War game, and no one expects you to know all of them. Okay. Ooh. How do I... Skirmishers scare me, they just die a lot. Aha, so I get to see who I'm recruiting people from, and that's part of the cost. This is interesting. The Macedonian settlers are only a small part of the society, and that makes sense. Most people are going to be locals. Peltasts are slingers? Spear people, by the look of it. Bactrian hillmen like to ambush people. A general. There's some impressive horse person. So these are a better version of these, but I'm going to go with these. How many things am I allowed to recruit? Let's cancel something. I don't want to cancel that, but if I were to cancel that. It's also mercenaries. Oh, get an elephant. I'm going to want some elephants in this game. Okay, so I can only get 2 things a turn, and although it's not perfect, it's sort of okay. I would like those, but I just don't have enough for this. If I do that by 4 gold. Oh, God, I didn't mean to click that. I should fill this quickly. But it's fine if we equip these this turn. Worry about the next thing, next turn. So skirmishers just kind of disrupt things. I should have put you in there immediately. You make the movement range go up. You can't go into. Could you go into that army before? I don't know if you do anything in armies. There's a lot of bad public order coming. I think I might be restarting this campaign at some point at an easier difficulty. No, you. Spies advising the army, infiltration. What are you doing because you're advising the army? Is that an army thing that I should be looking for? Situation mustering. Military intelligence because of the spy. Supply line. They aren't consuming very much supplies. Oh, I can edit, issue an edict. In this province. Export food. That seems to do nothing. So let's not do that. Mercenary hiring costs. If I do that, I can get the... Oh no, wait, I'm not sure if it starts this turn or next turn. If I click it, can I unclick it? Because it's... Oh, so I can still change it. Don't think it does apply this turn. In a weird way, it might have been worth not building anything here until getting that. Maybe I'll do that. Where is it? I can't actually see the final thing here. 10% building costs. Save a few thousand, but it's not that many. Recruiting costs, shipbuilding costs. 20% wealth from commerce buildings. More public order. More food. No. This seems like the best thing to have. I don't feel like I'm losing too much by doing all of this. Let's actually, no, let's go for this one, or let's go for this one. Is it Maul that I'm going to war with? No, it's Kath. Well, am I going to go to war with Maul? I forget. Whoa. It's been a long day. What's my plan? Yeah, I may as well go to war with Maul. You know, they're liked by these guys.
Welcome, friend. Let us conclude.
Not likely to join my satrapy. I like going what's often called tall in games, so having a lot of being quite small and kind of high society, and then having my power mostly through having influence over others. Apart from Satrapy, there's nothing too surprising here. You actually have given me a trade agreement, but joke's on you. They're at war. Hoping you don't march immediately over here. There's a lot of troops here. I think maybe the battles are much bigger than I've been used to for a while. Alright. Let's actually end the turn. What do we think of the amount of fog? It's washing out the colours a bit, but at the same time, we are very high. Close my eyes. Seems to have frozen. There we go. So my edict was issued. Commercial stimulation. There's weather going on over here. This game has weather. Oh god, this map is just gorgeous. Look, there's horses in the woods. There's little towns along the roads. Here's those gold mines. Can I see evidence of the weaving town? It doesn't necessarily look like it's... Oh yeah, look here. Maybe that's just because it's on the Silk Road. So, the map is not very active. War declared. Ah, that's... I mean, if I was Parthia, that would be my plan. That's not great though. Because I would like to... Why do you not like me? Cultural aversion, because I broke treaties with the Seleucidae. But I'd like to, I want that land. I'd like to be friends with the Parthians, but I'd like to do it from having access to this ocean. So we've got more money. We can go over here and find out if there's an army there. There is. It's not very big. There's a much bigger garrison. That's no joke. So I wanted to build this. I do just about have the money for it. That will really reduce what I can build this turn here. I think I don't want to leave a province open for too long. I think that's a negative thing. Given that my major holdback at this point is having the military strength, I should spend as much money as I can on it. So, in this game, there's... I wonder if the people who made this game just felt really bad that it didn't get the reputation they hoped it would. Can I just do that? What will you do? You'll increase tax rates. You won't make people happy. You just increase tax rates. Alright, let's have higher taxes. There's actually, somewhere I get to set the tax rate. Trade and finance. Tax level. Let's put it down, because everyone seems really unhappy. Yeah. Let's have that low. That gives me more growth and less unhappiness. I'm trading just with these guys, starting to build a partnership. It's a land route, that doesn't really matter. I'm getting silver and lead from them, I'm sending them these things. Love a bit of trade. Oh, I get a projection for next turn, that's nice. So unit upkeep is costing me money, construction was the big cost, recruitment. Not playing any tribute. Not giving anything to my overlord. Other is often just the game will give you a little bit of a lump sum so that you do have money at the beginning. So that's pretty just like 1400 is just. You could imagine it as just other sources of income. I don't even know how to think about it. Like it's not included in anything else, but it's there. Objectives. I do have objectives, be at war with one faction of the nomadic culture. So I've got these kind of large scale objectives and I've got these sub objectives as I go, and they're nice. They guide you through some of the pseudo historicalness of these people. Hold the entirety of Haravia on Mecca. This is Bactria. This is Haravia. This is also Haravia. Hoping this is Mecca. No! Interesting. If I want to hold the entirety of Mecca, I gotta go down here. Which I'm into. That's actually where I want to be going. The Gabianenses I'll have to deal with in my own way. Right, that's probably what I want to do this time. That was not the button I thought it was. That's the button, not birth. So I would say that the game actually does quite a good job of not having too many buttons to click on at any one time. It means the information can be slightly hidden, and there is a lot of information going on in the game. But I don't know, there's something really hard that just the fact, we're like 4 game designers, just the fact that you want to make sure that the player is able to do well, and that requires giving them a lot of information, but you also don't want the player to optimise the fun out of the game. You don't want them to just win by winning, you want them to win by doing interesting things, playing in interesting ways. Okay, don't leave empty things. I've learnt that. Slums. Convert dismantle. Dismantle. Cost money. Almost certainly I'm not strong enough to win this battle. There's a lot of them. The populace are troubled. And that's kind of right, that battles shouldn't just be winnable. I'm going to go over and try it. Whoa! God, the amount that I'm not able to win this. Is it frozen? Can I... So it seems to be a moment after every movement that it freezes. And that's probably a mod interacting badly. If I choose this, can I recruit in this? No, I can recruit in this. So So let's keep on spending that big money on this, and next turn we can build that gold mine. The only other thing to keep looking out for turn by turn is asking our nice friends the Capinensis.
I greet you in my master's field.
Would you take a payment?
Speak in honesty, and you will be answered likewise.
Take all my money. Take all my money so that you can trade with me and get money. So if Parthia do take that region, that doesn't feel like the end of the world. My spy has increased in rank. So it feels like actually a lot of the things I've been really enjoying in Total Warhammer have actually made their way into this game. God, there's so much going on. I think I might, although I am really excited to play as Bactria, I think I might do a campaign as a smaller nation so that there's kind of less to worry about. Plus 1 authority. I want the campaign movement at range. Oh, I can have two things. I need to be a higher rank to upgrade that. Oh, so I can have two of them! Hey! I like having two things. Burn ammunition, that's cool. Line of sight for parent army, that seems good. Does this get... No.
Ready for orders.
Oh, did you leave
Here there.
when I did recruiting?
Soldiering.
Yeah, you did. Okay, I'm not going to recruit this turn because what I want to happen is for this army to get big and then to come and fight me. Because I think we can probably take them, and that's going to be the quickest way to get towards... The Hellenic growth is good. Let's change my public order for the better. That will give me more public order. That's still too expensive. Oh cool, I can right click on it and see the whole thing. God, there's a lot going on. Yeah, I definitely want to start as a smaller nation. Masterfield, no. For the moment, let's keep things growing. Which means I'll actually bring in a little bit of money next turn. I'm not actually very rich. I kind of want to show this on stream, but one, it's a friend's research which is unpublished, and two, there's absolutely no way it's going to make much sense, but I've got a friend doing some awesome machine learning stuff, which normally I don't find that exciting, because sometimes I think it's just a tool we throw at problems and we don't really get to understand them, but she's just doing really like careful, complex let's work hard and make sure we get it right stuff. Organized supply. Finished. An advantage over my... God, a lot of things have happened. Advantage over my rivals. Roma secures Magna Graecia. Cool. Have a child. This diligent man who stands here. What do we think? Nice, what's his name? Bactria. What do we think his life is like? At the crossroads of the world. He's a mantis and touched by the mighty Zeus. Plus growth, plus morale for local units, and plus public order. He's hot-headed, plus growth, does some cultural conversion, makes the empire more. And he's cunning. Oh, you can have a goldsmith. Can anyone have a goldsmith? Oh, you have something. You have a crisis manager. That's cool. The agent doesn't have anything. Fair enough. I don't know where you got a goldsmith, but yeah, you can have it. That's, yeah, seems great. Orator. All of these are just chance of avoiding enemy agents. And this is a problem in Total War games. Enemy agents, the AI will just kind of spam them at you. I want you to be an economist and an administrator. Oh, I can get extra things. Oh, I didn't realise that. I didn't realise I'd be able to go down the tree. Oh, that's a lot to think about, which that is. I'm gonna get this. Screw it. That's what I want. I want that. This year in history. Antigonus defeats the Celts. So that's in... Can't see anything here, but that's happening in like Thrace. He's acknowledged by the Macedonians as their king. Interesting. Sicily. Carthage is sort of starting to be pushed out of southern Rome. Samnites defeat the Romans. I think that's one of the last Roman defeats for a long time. A lot, like really often in history, you see really big, successful empires and particularly military empires just not really be defeated for a long, long time, and they're kind of building on this momentum. And it can seem like the hot hand fallacy. This idea from basketball that someone who keeps making shots is more likely to make the next shot. But it's not really. It's normally a sign that they've chosen a really different tactic. That they're actually doing something differently or more. Sometimes they're just richer than anyone else, or they just have more troops, or sometimes they need to win. This is something we forget sometimes in history, but this is, for example, is it Augustus? No, Julius Caesar, in his campaigns. He wins this incredible victory when kind of all is lost. And one of the reasons that it's thought that he wins this, it's quite a sensible reason, is because he couldn't lose it. Losing it would be death for him, his whole army. They just had so much more to fight for. There's a good... I'm always wary to recommend TED Talks because they get a kind of bad rep, and they're very varied. And this one is not perfect, but there's a good TED Talk on finite versus infinite games that I recommend. And yeah, in fact, if you're interested in this idea of who wins and loses battles based on who has to, I recommend going and watching that video. I'm not going to say too much more. Gauls capture a large area of Asia Minor. Another thing about these games, particularly the Total War series, so it's not a quick way to expand this. Slowly waiting for him to come and attack me, but actually it's not stupid. because he'll just be costing himself a lot by doing all that. His city seems to be worth a lot more gold than my city. Not Siri. Never Siri. Siri, one of those things that that I don't want, but that kind of stays on in my pocket. Did I? No, I just completed the research. So, researching economy makes sense, but I'm gonna try and keep building myself. Let's I'll have a look at the military tree. Sometimes I get a bit overwhelmed by the number of units that can be unlocked. It's not crazy. It's a lot. But like, you know, I've got 2 different kinds of elephants. Yeah, get me some of them. Oh, big cataphracts. I hope I have some nice camels. Oh, what? No camels? That might be a different culture group or something like that. So, people are still pretty unhappy. So that's my current priority. I could turn off tax here. I forget how I do that. Is that still a thing I can do? Where would it be if I could do it? There's no like right click menu. You're mostly unhappy because of cultural differences, which are going down. And there's a lot of banditry because of trade routes in the region. And maybe what I should be doing is hiring another general. These guys are from my house. You're pretty good. I think you look identical to my current general though, so I don't really... close enough. I don't really want you. You're kind of good. You have some authority, some zeal to spare. You've got some authority. Are you guys the people from the various households? What does that mean? View character profile. Are you the head of my family? Wait, I'm confused. These are those candidates. Demodians. Yeah, no, don't suicide. Oh, is that Hemlock? So you are my general. Ah, so that person I was looking at, him, he is my ruler. That is me. So I think I should probably raise an army with him. Which is cheaper? That one's cheaper. It seems kind of great. That costs... Oh, so that's free right now. But that will cost less in difference is 54. So how long does it take to? It takes a long time for this to be less. It takes 25 turns, 15 turns. These probably are more powerful, particularly because I can recruit some things. So, any of these have a particularly good effect on public order? Oh, I should have recruited from here. I can recruit a lot more down here. We're in a time in the world where colonising is kind of weird. Like borders aren't that strong, and people go and live in different places, and it's kind of difficult. There is raiding and barbarians, but at the same time, you can kind of do it. You can be like, I want to move my family and live here, and people are like, yeah, it seems like a pretty good place to live. Region is not growing. What my real priority is to have cheap units with little upkeep. Improved stamina, excellent. Stamina, fighting shot. But also go for ones, if any of them, that have a particularly large public order effect. Disciplined, what does that do? Stamina good, discipline, hide, firewalls moving, no. So none of these have any particular public order effect. I don't know what these banner things mean. Is there a big difference between quite a lot cheaper? Herodotus knows that. I'm just going to kind of build the army that I think would be. I'm not going to build very much, basically. I don't want to spend money on it. But the army that would be good in this part of the world. I spent too much. Because my priority is actually upgrading this for some more public order. That's not doing any public order. Do all of these do public order? Yep, and the difference is pretty negligible. Just reminding myself, this is a really commercial region, so I should go for commerce. %, wealth from commerce, sanitation. Seems great. Shrines to Hermes on the Silk Road. Lovely. That puts upkeep costs up. I could think about that, but given this kind of stalemate here, I think I kind of want to explode economically. Oh, I got given this from the beginning. That seems good. Ancients discovered that the use of water in mining, especially gold mining, eased extraction and washed ore from the hillsides. Two main methods applied: hushing and ground sluicing. Hushing used large quantities of water stored in tanks, which is poured over the deposit This dislodged sediment exposed the deposit for easier mining and washed smaller deposits into sluicing boxes where they could be collected. Ground sluicing achieved similar results, but more controlled technique. Requiring a constant steady flow of water involved the redirection of natural. Lovely. So this is early hydro engineering for the sake of like better mining. Beautiful. Oh. We forget sometimes how much you have to invent. How everything in our world is invented, and we kind of have lost it. But every single idea that we are the product of so many ideas. I sometimes raise objection to people using, or I think misusing, phrases like standing on the shoulders of giants. I think that doesn't really mean what we think it means sometimes, and I'll go into that another time. But there are some wonderful things that happen that people do that are the product of so much tiny, fascinating discoveries and innovations and ideas. I just love it. Let's go for agriculture. No, you know what, let's go for water sluicing. We're out here on the edge of the world, let's invent some cool techniques. So a nice thing about technology in these games is everyone gets most technologies. They don't all have the same technology, in fact every nation has their own tech tree. Nice eastern town. But eventually everyone will pick up most technologies, and that well represents... I'm going to put the taxes down even more, because things get worse when the amount of money is bigger. Maybe that's rebels? Maybe bandits are like rebels? I just realised I could be doing some political stuff if these guys were willing to trade with me. So let's see if any of my politics can make them like me. So I can't do any intrigues with any of these people. You're not automatically my heir? I mean, there's no point declaring you as an heir now. You'll probably get killed. I don't have enough money, so that does just cost pure money. It's not costing political points. But I might like to do that in a bit. It'd pretty quickly be worth it. Although I do want to conquer them. That is on my horizon. So already the Seleucids are at war with quite a few people, and I think that will just keep on getting worse. So I wouldn't be shocked if people pull away from them, basically. Come on, come and attack me. You know you want to. Little walk on over. Also, I realise if you've been watching this whole way through, you've seen a lot of talking, you've seen a lot of nice maps, you've seen a lot of tooltips and numbers and menus. You haven't seen any of the battles, and I hope that these videos, something about them might appeal to people who wouldn't normally play video games, and so I do want to show you a wide range of what's in a video game. And this series of games, the Total War games, are
further guidance.
fascinating because they are effectively two games which play into each
Time
other.
to staunch deep wounds.
Nope, absolutely not. Just realised, here we go. You think I've got no chance of winning, what, because of that one dude? Whereas I think I've got a pretty good chance, but then I don't know how to play this game. I do know how to play this game, but I haven't played it in a long while. I don't really know what tactics are good. And there's a lot of tactics. These are deep games that don't necessarily have to be played deeply. I am defending over a river. I don't have much ranged unit. While this is loading, hopefully without breaking it, I'm going to see if I can find out what this banner on the unit icon means. It means that AOR. Okay. What does AOR mean? 1, 2, AOR units. What are your favourite AOR recruitment units? Divided and Imperial unit questions. AOR might mean like region specific. I've got a long guide up here that I'm going to read as and when I can. But firstly, I'm just going to jump into the battle. So we are defending over a river, which is great. We're defending over a river, and we can't know for certain, but we could kind of assume there's only seemingly 2 crossing points. There's an actual bridge, and there's a ford. Now I would prefer my enemy to come over on a little dip here. I prefer my enemy to come over the bridge because that's just this incredible channeling, and particularly having a phalanx
Flanks at the ready!
when it's in like
Forward phalanx!
pike phalanx formation. Look at them. I might get rid of. I'm going to mess with the graphics a bit. This is quite an old game, so it can be messed with. Oh, his helmet hasn't properly loaded. It can be improved and messed with, but just little things like. It is so much control. It's kind of amazing that you can do this. That you can. It's a tiny thing, but that I can tell. 175 people. No, wait. Which one are they? 256 people.
Phalanx!
To get ready. Get ready. Takes them a little while. Are they gonna do it? No. I'll probably do it in a bit when I go away. They're shy. So one drawback of my current army composition, and this was basically because I couldn't recruit better people, is I actually don't want to do that. They wield large pole axes, which means they'll be pretty good over here, and I should be fine without needing them. I can do this thing. This is a Rome 2 specific thing, which I always thought was really cool, and people never really got that into it. Or at least I didn't see people doing that much about it. But where you can have stuff that you deploy on the battlefield, meaning that you're slightly setting the terms. Like I can put my skirmishers behind a barricade, which people have to break through to get at them.
Javelin men!
It's cool as hell.
What are your orders?
So let's do that. Let's have a barricade across here. You know what? This yellow region is the place that I'm allowed to deploy, and if you're looking at this, you can probably tell that I'd like to be. Come on, a bit longer, a bit longer, a bit longer. It's fine where it is. I'd like to be a little bit closer. I'm not being given that option. So caltrops are interesting because I can use them to kind of stop and dissuade different ways of flanking. So I'm going to have all my skirmishers in here, and they're basically going to last a long time because of that. They probably can get out that corner, and the enemies probably can get in that corner, but it sort of doesn't matter. This guy's well suited for ambush tactics. Don't really know what to do about that. So actually, no, I'm gonna put my pikemen here. Because I'd rather be on this side of the nub, because archers will be fine from over there. Most battles, playing through this through, I won't think about anywhere near this much, but this one, I'm unlikely to win. But it'll be interesting to see like how well I can do. These caltrops here are just in case the enemy, a significant action, send their cavalry over here. Fire pits. I don't really know what these do, but let's put them here. Because maybe that's a good idea. Let's put them across here. Where they're kind of most likely to do something. And I'm only going to leave one unit here, so if they really come over this side of the river, I'm screwed. No, let's leave two. They'll be slow wading through the river. And my general on horses is fast, so he can actually react to it. I want my javelin people kind of out here. I want, who's over here? These two. Let's group you, but unofficially. So the pikes I want over this side because they're going to kind of hold on their own a lot. I'm really going to rely on them to hold over here. So they're going to immediately run round to this side. These guys may as well be in reserve. They're not very strong. They also apparently have some missiles, so that's cool. These guys are going to come around over this side, and as are... Now these guys are going to be behind the pikemen. So, you guys are my group 2. You guys are my group 3. You guys are my group 4. This grouping just helps me select people quicker. So the battle's going to start. I'm not allowed to pause. No, I am allowed to pause. I'm not allowed to issue orders while pause. But I'm allowed to pause and just kind of make sense of what's going on. What's going on is that their army is split in both places. Okay. So I'm going to not have as heavy a emphasis over here as I thought I was going to. Unless they have cavalry. Oh my god. Probably going to lose. So So we just want to kind of hold them over here. Given that you guys are going to reinforce first, let's get these. Oh, just go there. Phalanx. Be quick about it. You can come and help out. You can come and help out. You didn't get the phalanx in time. Oh, that's bad news. You can fire it there. Why not? So, Tier 1 play. My computer's chugging a little bit. Tier 1 play is play the game on a low difficulty so that you've got time to make decisions. Tier 2 play is... Okay. You've got some time. Yep, you're on running. So, you're not very happy. So units tend to break in these games because of losing morale, losing will to fight, basically. I'm gonna bring you over here. You got a bit shot at. You can pull back a bit. You're finally starting to get into position. You're kind of close enough that it makes sense to start putting you in formation. You're being shot up from over there, so you get out of that. One of our units has used all its ammunition, says the enemy. Okay. I don't really know why they're just standing here firing arrows at these guys. But because they are, I can get my cavalry over that river. Which is great. It's exactly what I want to be doing. These guys are not very brave. These guys are also not very brave, but I think they'll come back and keep coming back. You guys kind of are already doing that, but you could do it more. Oh, you didn't like that. You didn't like that one bit. You're really pretty unhappy about the whole charging into battle. So I expect to inflict more damage to them than I take. Go over there! One issue in the game is that units can get kind of stuck on other units. You're wavering. Yeah, those units might be quite strong. I think maybe when I restart I should... oh. Lost focus for a sec. So these guys only work if someone actually charges them, which did happen at the very beginning, but they weren't ready. Oh, what a mess. My units have fled over there. My general's fighting for his life, but probably won't keep it. Kind of overrun here. I'm at the point where issuing orders won't really make me any stronger. So, may as well just accept being weak. Decisive defeat. No, I just did terribly there. Not too surprising. They basically outnumbered me by a factor of 2, which... No, not even in numbers. They brought all those archers, which actually... So having a bridge is often a big advantage, but when outnumbered with all those archers, it kind of isn't, because it gives the archers just an opportunity to just pour fire into me. Like, look, somebody's killed like 100 units. Although they killed like 200 units. I just kind of didn't have a tactic there. I'm not sure there was a winning tactic, but mine was not it. And I'm probably going to call this there. Going to change various things about my streaming setup. World of the past. I'm kind of just saying this to think through it. And get everything running just like a little bit smoother, a little bit easier, a little bit prettier. So come back for that. And in the meantime, live your lives, have nice ones. What am I saying? You need a good sign-off. I think that's something they say in Anchorman. You need a good sign-off. The Walter Cronkite sign-off. And I don't yet have a sign-off, but, you know, signing off. If you liked the video, if you watched any of it, if you watched this bit, congrats. You put in the work. It's a bunch of loading screens that you had to watch. Like and subscribe, I guess, if you want to. I think H Bomber Guy always says it well. His reaction is always a kind of, oh my god, my general was killed. That change capital button is completely broken, and that's fine. There's no point fighting this. So let's... Oh my god. I just clicked one of those at random. My army's defeated. God, these guys offered me peace at the beginning of this turn. Although I'd love to show you a siege battle, it's not worth it on this one. This freeze moment, not a big fan of. Given that I'm gonna lose, and I don't care about the casualties, that's the thing to do. Things going well in our empire. I will probably not be... I'm looking forward to revisiting Bactria, and I promise I'll get faster. There's a lot to learn right now. I'll probably be revisiting this, but not yet. So, yeah. Actually signing off, actually clicking the end turn button. This card is like, it's like young lovers not hanging up on each other. I could just keep doing this for ages, like eventually it'll become a bit and I'll quite enjoy it. I had a half-finished thought about H. Like, he just has a nice way of saying, like, you know, if you want to subscribe, like, I'd love it. It'd make me feel good, but you don't have to. Live your own lives. Like, you know, do you want to subscribe to this? I don't know. I can't tell you what to do. That's what I think. Right. Bye.